One of the first things you need to understand about women is that they tend to wear their emotions on their sleeves. Where you and I may know that, and she likely knows that, but if you were to walk up to a woman and say this to her face, you're at risk of getting slapped or called a pig. I'm not trying to say we're perfect as men by any means, because we also know that we as men have shortcomings as well. We can be arrogant, boisterous, stubborn, and even a bit too macho or chauvinistic for our own good. But at the end of the day, with our negatives and theirs, we still love the ladies, and we want nothing more for them than to love us back. And that brings me to the topic of today's video. There are probably some things you're doing that you think might increase your chances at the game, but they're causing more damage than anything. So let's take a look at some things you may do that are hurting your chances with her. For starters, in most situations, when a guy is overly emotional, it looks bad for several reasons. One of them is that since being over-emotional is more of a woman's trait, it makes you come across as feminine. Chances are she's not going to be looking for feminine traits in you, so it's something you want to avoid. Another reason is that you can come across as whiny or needy, and neither of those are ideal when most women are looking for stability or assertiveness. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Perhaps it's something you already know, but one of the largest differences between men and women is that ladies will always have more options than us. For example, let's look at an attractive female and then task her with asking 100 single guys for their phone numbers. How well do you think she would do? Chances are she would come back with dozens of interested men. Now let's switch roles and ask an attractive male to do the same thing. Sure, he'll score some numbers too, but more like a dozen than a few dozen. Let's say you're a good-looking guy. If you could choose any girl in a room of 10 girls, chances are you would likely select the most attractive one there is. It's no different when it comes to the ladies, as they will go after the most handsome man there is. But the competition for girls is going to be greater than that of the boys, which means you're still indirectly always competing with other men. What would you do if I said that there is a way you can skip over this competition and stand out immediately from all the other guys out there? This method is referred to as the X Factor, and chances are you already have it but might not even know it. The X Factor is centered on the idea that girls are traditionally driven by their emotions. Imagine that all girls are like a huge lake, and in this lake are all their emotions. Now, most men will virtually have no impact on the water by just floating there, but when they use the X Factor, it's like chucking a big stone out there and causing ripples in the water. What this means is that the X Factor causes a huge emotional impact on the woman you're interested in, leaving the question to be, how does one go about throwing this giant rock into her proverbial lake of emotions? You'll be happy to find out that the process is rather simple, but it will require a bit of practice on your end. The most important weapon you have at this stage of the game is your state of mind. Indeed, the average guy who doesn't fare so well with the ladies will lead himself into a situation with a poor state of mind based primarily on fear. When this happens, women won't even bother moving the ball along because you will appear weak or nervous to them. It's okay to be nervous, but it's not something you want to show off too much. On the other hand, when your typical dominant masculine alpha male type guy goes into the exact same situation, but instead armed with a strong state of mind, the girl will notice and probably favor him. This brings you to stage 2, and that will be her trying to break your confidence down. Now, she's not doing this to be rude or evil, but instead, she is testing you. This is something that females do to men to see how mentally strong and stable they are. This isn't something you should blame girls for because most men unintentionally reinforce this method. Girls are aware that they possess far more options than men, and this state of mind is constantly reinforced by society. Just remember, all you need to do is to cast a rock into the lake and break her state of mind first. The easiest way to do this is by playfully teasing her, then giving her a compliment. You could say something that is mildly insulting, but then be quick to immediately follow it up with something nice or sweet. Since girls are so accustomed to men paying them compliments and trying to appease them, they completely break down when a guy ends up acting oppositely, which makes this a great way to cause an emotional impact on her. Perhaps the craziest thing about it is that it doesn't particularly matter whether the impact is negative or positive. One important thing that women will never tell you is that any emotional impact, whether it's a positive or negative one, is 100% better than no impact or emotions at all. Remember, all you're honestly doing is breaking down their state of mind and winding up their emotions. You can tease her about her outfit, her taste in music, her favorite movie, or even the way she laughs. Think of saying something like, "Wow, that laugh really is something else." And then once she registers it as an insult, follow it up with, "But it's really cute though." You need to remember to go into every situation making sure that you're in the right state of mind. When done correctly, she will instinctively test you by trying to break you down, which is precisely what you're doing to her. The goal for both sides is to stir up emotions and make the other react emotionally. Unfortunately, most men fail these seemingly simple tests horribly because they get defensive when a woman tries to attack their state of mind. And after this happens, it's extremely difficult to regain your composure and get yourself back up on that horse. To review once more, the X Factor is built upon by approaching a woman with a strong and dominant state of mind and then proceeding to break down her state of mind. You need to keep your guard up and not let her see that you're an overly emotional male. By paying her a mild insult, you help keep everything in your favor, but remember to compliment her too. You're not trying to be mean or hurtful. You're just using a strong tactic to break through the ice and essentially move on to regular conversation and learning more about her. I hope you learned something today, and know that you may not master this overnight. Practice makes perfect. Just stay calm, cool, and collected, and remember these tricks of the trade, and you'll see results in no time.